Hi there, and good evening. Welcome to PBS Fort Wayne. I'm Sandy Thomson, the host of this show tonight. It's called Life Ahead, and the reason we call it that is because each week we have different topics and different guests, but we try to focus on topics and issues that will help give you information and education for choices you have to make for your life ahead. That's the title of the show. Now, this is your show. I'm going to start asking our guests some questions tonight, but I would encourage you to call in. We have a phone number you'll see there at the bottom of the screen, 969-2720. And we'd love to talk to you live on the air if that's okay with you. That way, if our guests have questions back, you're right there still on the phone. If not, in the control room, our phone operator will take your question and type it up and send it out here to the studio to me on the teleprompter, and I'll ask them. So that's how our show works. We have no commercials. We go straight through for a half an hour. I'd like you to meet our guest. We've had Janell Sprinkle right here on this side, an attorney who's been with us before here on Life Ahead. And she's invited to come along, Amber Bowers. Amber, so nice to have you with us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No problem. And the topic, by the way, is something that will apply to an awful lot of you, or perhaps to your parents or grandparents or neighbors. We're going to be talking about aging at home and what kind of resources and help there is to, help you maintain a regular daily life if you choose to stay at home. Let's talk about why people stay at home. You get to answer that, Janell. That's a growing thing, isn't it? A growing trend?
It really is. So as an elder law attorney, we have conversations about this a lot, preparing and getting ready, both your finances and others, on aging and where you would like to be and what you feel is a comfortable place for you. So we have these conversations, and more you hear that people want to stay in their own home, and that's a fantastic choice. And I say, okay, well, it is a unique thing about staying in your home, what you need to consider, but there are always large general topics that you want to make sure you think about if you're making that decision for yourself.
You mean categories of help you might need, or what are you saying?
You're exactly right.
Okay.
So you want to think about, for example, safety and accessibility in your home.
Yeah.
Right now it's fine and you get around and you're doing great, but you want to think about, as you age, does my home need some advancements or some changing? So that can be anything from ramps for accessibility for a wheelchair. It can be grab bars
in the shower,
in the bathroom. You're exactly right, but it can be a lot easier too. It can be checking the throw rugs on your floor, because those can easily become trip hazards.
Haven't I heard that the first thing you do is get rid of the throw rug?
You're exactly right.
Because that's what tripping, I guess, is one of the number one reasons that elderly people fall, and it's often because they trip on a throw rug.
Yes,
or their cat, maybe, I don't know.
You don't have to get rid of the cat. But, sure, but that's exactly right. And you think that you clear the clutter and the other things, and you miss the rugs because they're part of your decor, but those can easily be trip hazards as well.
Yeah.
So
or if you do have them, like maybe at the door, you have one that will collect snow or rain or whatever else. You can buy that.
The tape.
What do you call that? Tape? To make sure it's stuck down on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
You're exactly right.
All right. So what else besides safety are reasons people might need in home?
Sure. I mean, some of the other larger categories that you want to think about is who can take over the chores or the daily maintenance of your home. Things you think about would be lawn maintenance, of course.
Sure.
But there are other things, just paying the utilities and your finances and getting those things done, because those things can become very overwhelming or frustrating to you as you age. So knowing who you can reach out to or who you can hire to help you in those situations, but also just daily chores like dishes and laundry and food preparations and things like that. Thinking about who may not need that service now, but as you think about how to age, you can think about who might fill that need.
Exactly. Or and again, what those needs are. I mean, you talked about maybe helping with meals. Maybe you just need somebody to take you to the grocery.
Transportation.
Or go for you to the grocery. I mean, things like that.
You're exactly right. How are you, if you don't drive anymore, how are you going to get to your doctor's office as visits?
Right.
Or your religious services, or what you like to do. How are you going to arrange transportation? That's another very big one as well. And then, of course, the biggest is just taking care of your own health care needs.
Yeah.
Do you need
medications or what?
Medications, bathing, transferring from your bed or out of a chair, any of, they call them activities of daily living. Any of those things you want to think about who might that person be. Some people have friends or neighbors or siblings or kids, but then also some people don't, or you need that next level of actual trained or skilled individuals that might come to your home. And so you have to think about the cost that's involved in that.
Well, I think sometimes, you know, from what I've heard from people, it's not always whether or not you have somebody in the family or a neighbor or whatever to help you. It's maybe you don't want to impose too much.
You're
and
exactly
if you
right.
are starting to require some special needs, then maybe you would be more comfortable spending the money to hire somebody to do those things and then reserve the family for emergencies.
For being a family. You're exactly
being
right.
a family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes, you know, your child is not the best caregiver themselves.
That's
not
true.
their personality.
Right.
And they would rather be a daughter and not
Right.
a caregiver. So those are exactly things to consider.
Or they're
Absolutely.
often, maybe at that stage of their life, they're busy with their own families. And
Yes.
if they have several kids and, you know, running their own life, you know, maybe they just don't have the time to
Absolutely.
come every day.
Absolutely.
You've got some solutions for us, Amber, and I'm so excited to hear about it. Amber it works in the enrollment area in PACE, P-A-C-E. What is PACE? And now that's a spin-off of Aging and In-Home Services.
Yeah.
Yes, we're another program Aging and In-Home Services offers. We offer some home and community-based services that connect individuals in the community to those services and supports that just help keep them safe in the home, keep them independent, and allow them to age in place.
Well, how do you get started with that? I mean, how do you begin to make decisions? And Janelle, you could jump in here too. How do you make decisions of when it's time to ask for help, or if you want to apply to PACE or some program, when is it time, and who do you go to for help?
Sure.
Okay.
You want me to take that one?
It's up to you.
I'll answer and then you jump in.
Okay.
Well, a lot of it is your level of care. So at first you may start off with just needing a couple of hours of someone coming to the home, and your finances can support that.
Yeah.
And you know, you have the wherewithal to make that happen. But as you need help with more and more activities of daily living,
I see.
the price increases. And so a lot of people, it's
Dependent on the number of hours of help you need?
Exactly, 'cause
What about
if-
the type of help you need? Does that
exactly.
vary?
Yes. So
Okay.
if you think about just the numbers of it,
Sure.
an average rate of someone, a caregiver coming to your home is about $25 an hour. So if you start simple, even 4 hours a day, you do the math on that, that's $3,000 a month, it's $36,000 a year, so that adds up very quickly, and that's only 4 hours a day. So as your care needs increase, the financial drain on it increases, but also a lot of the programs require a certain level of needs. So they may be triggered when you need at least 3 activities of daily living assistance.
I see.
So it can be both financial or healthcare that kind of trigger you into that next step. And that's really an individual decision on whether you think that you need more or not. But Aging and Home Services is a great resource in town, and they will come out and do an assessment.
I've referred many people to Aging and In-Home Services. Let's talk about what do they do, and then what does PACE do as a part of that?
So Aging and In-Home Services starts most of the referral process for the program. So they would connect individuals to the PACE program if that's something that they're interested in, and we just start our conversation in the home on the little fine details of the program, and if that's something they're interested in, then we would proceed.
So then you, somebody from Aging and or PACE then would go and visit that potential client in their home to see their home and what the needs are, and then to visit with them individually and see, do they need medical help or
Yes.
cleaning or whatever?
Yeah, sitting down with them and their caregiver and finding out what their needs are and how we can best meet those.
Are you able to give them at that time, and we don't want to talk money amounts now because that's going to vary from person to person, but my question just generally is, are you able to give them after that interview a rough idea of what it might cost them to use the program?
Yes, we just review mainly if they're looking at Medicaid. Medicaid would pay for the program. If they're not interested in a Medicaid application, then we look at different like private pay options.
Do you help them with Medicaid application?
Yes, I'll do the Medicaid application with them. I can help with the phone interview and submitting documents.
Oh, okay. That's very helpful, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
for
it is.
sure.
It is.
Do most people that apply get approved, or what are some rough percentages?
Yeah, it's we're finding very easy to get people approved. I don't know if there's been a time that we've actually had to deny anyone. The medical need usually is so great when you
Yeah.
finally reach out for help.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that in reading about this program that I discovered that you have, I think is wonderful, is like a day center, a
Yeah.
daycare center. What's that about?
So the day center is what's pretty unique about our program. So potential participants can come in and visit, but if you're a participant, you come in and socialize. We provide hot meals and snacks, just a lot of different activities, games. On site too, that's when our providers can meet with them. So that could be the doctor, that could be physical therapy.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is in a building that you own?
Yes.
Okay, okay. What do you know about it, Janelle? Anything to jump in with? Do you have any clients of yours that you're working with as an elder law attorney? Do they need or utilize that type of service?
They do, and a lot of time, not a lot of times, but we get clients who are hesitant. We know they want to age at home,
Yeah.
and we know they have the care need, but they're hesitant about leaving and going to the facility. And so when that comes up with my clients, I say, you know what? Just go take a look at it. They're not going to force you to stay. If you don't like it, you can tell them no.
Yeah.
It is such a lovely facility, and it really is a one-stop shop if they need to have their laundry done, if they need to
really?
do physical therapy, if they just...
Sign me up.
I know, that's exactly right. If they just need to have socialization.
That's what I was curious about, because maybe, you know, if you can make all the other arrangements to get things taken care of, whether it's mowing the lawn or cleaning your house or getting your groceries, but you know, you're home alone.
Right.
And maybe you just need a little bit of social interaction each week. Are there minimum or maximum hours they can use the day center? How about that, Amber?
Yeah, so days will vary. It could be usually 1 to 3 days. We're open Monday through Friday, but don't generally have someone in every single day of the week. And hours are really our personal preference. If they're new, they might come in at 10 a.m. and go home at 3 p.m. It just really varies.
I see, I see. Could they find you through Aging and In-Home Services? Could they get a reference with information on how to reach you?
Yes, absolutely. They can start with Aging and In-Home Services. They could call us directly, and there's even on our website something that they can ask questions for.
Okay, well, speaking of references and opportunities, Janelle brought this wonderful book in. Do you mind if I hold this up? I
Please,
want
please do.
everybody to see it. I didn't know that it was available, but it's something that certainly would fit for a lot of you in finding some answers. Tell us about this resource book, Janelle.
It is, we refer to it as the Bible. It is a fantastic resource guide. It's published annually, so it's kept up to date. We're at the point of the year where they're running out because so many people want these, but it is also online. So if you want to get on your computer, you're more than welcome, and it'll have all that information. But the actual booklet itself can be found at several locations throughout Fort Wayne, including the community center, the libraries, or some at Aging Home Services. We have some in our office. So there you can find them most places, but it is a one-stop shop of information.
This is great.
It is fabulous.
I mean, it would save somebody a lot of time.
Yes, it has done the research for you.
Right. Just glancing through here, you know, there's like support groups, prescription medication, nursing facilities, mental health, memory care units, housing, hospitals, hospice, just like everything, government offices, and it gives you addresses and phone numbers and that sort of thing. Food services.
Transportation, all of the things that we mentioned about aging while in your home, right there are your sources on who you can call and ask more questions, about those issues
Yeah.
that you want to address when you're thinking about aging in your home.
Is there a cost for this?
No, it's a free booklet.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And this is a great guide.
It
And
is.
as you can see, there's a lot of information. And this takes the place of, some of you might remember the Yellow Pages back in the day. I had to
Yes.
explain what the Yellow Pages were to my grandson once. It's like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Why did you have books, you know, with people's phone numbers? Why didn't you just Google or something?
Right,
You
right,
know?
right.
Well, thank you for this idea, Janelle. I think that's a wonderful source. Okay, let's go back to talking about aging in home and some of the things that you might need. What does PACE stand for, P-A-C-E?
Yeah, Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly.
Oh, okay. Say it again. Program for all.
Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly.
Okay. Do you remember that? Did you know that?
That's why I call it PACE. I don't remember that.
Okay, you don't have to remember it. Just look for PACE in the
Exactly.
resource guide. Okay, how do you know when it's time for somebody to seek a program like PACE, Amber? What's the diagnosis? Does a doctor tell them it's time? Do their kids? How do you know?
There's a wide variety of different sources that might say something. Usually it's the kids. A lot of times when they're visiting from out of state for holidays, that's when we have an influx of calls. Doctors do refer to us. It just really varies. There's a lot of different community sources.
I see. I see. You know, you said holidays and whatever, and I've heard that many times before, that often it's at Thanksgiving or Christmas when the relatives are all coming for dinner or for the weekend and they haven't seen Grandpa for 2 years, and they are shocked by the change, you know, and they may pick up on that quicker than the people that are right around them all the time, the people that live in the same area, because they've just observed them
Gradual
declining
changes.
gradually. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you, as an attorney, ever refer people to services like that, or what do you do?
We do, absolutely. Because, you know, again, as an elder law attorney, we're having these conversations, and a lot of time is to get financially prepared for them. So when you're thinking about paying for these things, you're thinking about, well, what are my options? You obviously, if you have a high income or you have a nest egg and you can pay for these things privately, then you can make those decisions. But a lot of people are looking to supplement those care costs.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what brings us into that conversation, and we can talk about ways to help pay for the cost. So we can talk about long-term care insurance or VA benefits.
Oh, all right.
But where PACE comes in is it's actually a state-funded program. So that is the state actually helping to supplement your care costs. So
Okay.
that can look like a Medicaid waiver application, or it can look like a PACE application. So those
I
are
see.
just various resources that are available to you to have a conversation about and see which of those fits best for you and for your goals.
So just don't automatically assume that, you know, I don't have really much money in my savings account. I can't begin to afford any of these at-home services. Don't assume that until you've exhausted people that might be able to help. We do have a phone call here this evening. Fred has called in. Fred, thank you so much for calling us here on Life Ahead. And what is your question for our ladies tonight?
Well, Sandy, I'm very much want to stay at home
Okay.
while I age. Good. I'm 86 years old,
Good for you.
work part-time, but I have Parkinson's.
Okay. All right.
Problem with staying at home and having Parkinson's when I age.
Okay.
Maybe your guest could give me some ideas.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Fred, for calling in and for sharing that information. So then I'm gathering you're saying that you're staying at home now at 86, but you do have Alzheimer's and you have Parkinson's. Is that
I have Parkinson's, not Alzheimer's. I have Parkinson's,
not Alzheimer's? Okay, Parkinson's.
and my wife lives with me now.
Okay. Do you have physical limitations yet?
I mostly have problems with balance.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you require a lot of medications or medical help?
Moderate, I think.
Okay. All right. All right. Who can give him some ideas? Fred needs some help here. Is that the kind of person that might seek help from PACE?
Absolutely. Our physical and occupational therapists would work one-on-one to help with some of those balance issues.
Right. Yeah, with Parkinson's, he will have probably some kind of issues like that. So now, do these therapists, does he have to go to that center, the day center, or can you send people to his home?
We're very flexible, so we can do in the day center or in the home as well.
Okay. All right. What would you recommend? Anything, Janelle?
I would recommend what you did, which was wonderful because you are asking him more questions about what exactly do you need.
Yeah.
Because Parkinson's can be on a wide range.
Oh,
of
and many different types of symptoms.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad that he mentioned the balance, which is exactly what Amber addressed.
Yeah.
So I would want to know, well, what exactly are you struggling with?
Yeah.
Do you need something now, or are you worried about the future? So we need to have I would need to flesh out a little bit more to see what exactly he is needing, and then we would talk about the various sources that are available to him and what would help them. I know one thing that hasn't come up yet, but I just want to make it clear, and I'm sure Amber just hasn't gotten there quite yet, but to take part in PACE, they do have to be safe in their home. So this is not something, and you've asked us a couple different ways, and that is, when do you know if the PACE program is right for you? So if you can benefit, they have a wide variety of benefits, but at the end of the day, when you go home, PACE needs to make sure that you're going to be home, you're going to be safe in your home that night. So it sounds like Fred would be completely fine because he's just experiencing some balance issues. But that's one of the things that would be discussed too. So it's really finding out specifically what he needs.
And it's important too that Fred shared that he has his wife lives at home.
Exactly.
And Fred, maybe depending on your wife's health, or does she need help as well? Do you both need help, or just one of you? So thank you, Fred, so much. Now Doug has called in as well. Let me read Doug's question here. He says this: how can someone keep their parents' house if the parents are sent to a nursing home and the house is in the parents' name? Okay, this is a legal question for you, Janelle.
It is, and I get this question often.
I bet you do. It's very common for people to want to.
Yes. So I think what Doug is referring to is to be eligible for Medicaid, you do need to have under $2,000 in your name when you apply.
You mean in savings, checking account, everything?
Exactly.
Okay.
So the house is one of those things we actually have lots of different options to go there. So we can apply for Medicaid and have the house as an exempted asset, meaning that it will count as zero. Now there's some
How can you do that?
It's an exemption, so you can do that if it's for sale or otherwise. They will count it as a zero asset. That does come with a very bad back end, though, and what I mean by that is that while you are receiving Medicaid benefits, the state actually becomes a creditor, and they're tallying the bill of what they've been providing to you. So
for all those years, whatever services, they keep track of what that would have cost.
You're exactly right. So if you get to the point where your parents have passed away, but they still have the home in their name because we got it as an exempt asset, whatever the bill is out there, they can come back and claim the value and to get reimbursed. So it really, forces a sale at that point. So that's one of them we want to kind of stay away with. But again, I need more information. So Doug, I'm trying to answer generally, but if we know that your parents need help in the future, if we had 5 years, elder law attorneys, you need to make an appointment. They would really be able to speak to you about this, but different strategies. So if we know we had 5 years, we could utilize a tool. It's called an asset preservation trust. We could put the home into something like that. It would become 100% protected.
So it would not count with that $2,000 limit at all?
It wouldn't count on the limit, and on the back end, it wouldn't be able to be touched for reimbursement. So it's protected all around.
But now this is a legal process, so they need to see an attorney to go through that. Okay.
If you meet the activities of daily living, the health requirements, and you're limited by having a home or by having too many assets, that is your perfect opportunity to have a conference with an elder law attorney. We have a lot of tools in our tool belt and you don't have to spend down to $2,000.
Right.
That's kind of, what you hear, that's not true. If you, elder laws, we have lots of different tools. So we can help protect the home.
Yeah, and that's certainly good news for you, Doug. And, I've also had attorneys on the show often remind people that it's never too late. If you're already in a nursing home, there are still ways you can work with asset protection.
Yes, the timeline is important.
We're almost out of time here. Unfortunately, my goodness, this half hour went fast for us here. You have 15 seconds, Janell. What last bit of advice would you give people?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think there is a plethora of different opportunities and availabilities in Fort Wayne. You have a resource guide. You have programs. We didn't mention this, but PACE is only in limited counties in Indiana. We are blessed in Allen County to have PACE. So, yep.
Still want you to see this guide again.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Come talk to an elder law attorney, talk to PACE, know what your different options are, and then you can make it your own.
Okay.
Make it work for you.
Great advice, great advice. Well, I hope you've benefited from some of this information and education here on Life Ahead tonight. And we're going to be back here next Wednesday night at 7:30 with a new topic and a new guest to, again, share education and information. Meanwhile, have a great night and stay healthy and stay safe. Good night.
The preceding program on PBS Fort Wayne was made possible in part by
Beers Mallers, elder law attorneys providing information on legal matters of guardianship and financial issues relating to nursing home care. Beers Mallers attorneys can also assist with Medicaid requirements and help navigate difficult family situations. Offices in Fort Wayne, LaGrange, Warsaw, and online at beersmallers.com.